Democracies don't usually collapse when laws are broken. They collapse when people no longer believe those laws are enforced evenly. That's why the Epstein files matter. Not because they add anything new to what was already known about Jeffrey Epstein, but because they expose how the American government behaves when its institutions are placed under real pressure. Years of secrecy, stalled procedures, and half-truths have turned a criminal case into a referendum on the justice system's credibility. And what the files reveal is damning. An informal network of the ultra-rich moving in lockstep, trading favors, and shielding one another from the consequences of their depravity. It's the kind of conspiracy many assumed existed but rarely see laid out in black and white. Epstein, a private individual accountable to no electorate, stands at the crossroads of presidents, billionaires, royalty, and the uppermost ranks of government and industry. In this stratum of wealth and influence, political beliefs are irrelevant. Officials from opposing ideological camps offered him counsel, welcomed him into their company, and traveled privately. The trail of facts points to a harsh conclusion. Ethics, morals, truth, justice, and principles were never guardrails holding democracy in place, but merely feel-good bedtime stories told to the masses. And this is where the Epstein files do the most harm. They strip away the rules-based illusion American institutions depend on to function and produce institutional ambiguity, which is uniquely dangerous to a democracy. The damage is not visible to the naked eye. It doesn't crater buildings or light up the sky, but it does silently rot the core of America's power base in ways no missile ever could. Before we continue, a quick word from today's sponsor, Incogni. When we talk about power, influence, and hidden networks, one thing is rarely ever discussed: how exposed we are online. Your phone number, home address, and even information about your family can sit on dozens of data broker sites, which is quietly traded and compiled. Incogni is designed to change that. It helps you wipe yourself from the internet, not just from people and search engines, but from the broader data broker ecosystem that collects and sells your personal information. The idea is simple: they can't harm you if they can't find you. Incogni contacts those data brokers on your behalf, requests removal of your data, and keeps monitoring to make sure it stays that way. What sets Incogni apart is its custom removals feature. If you Google yourself and find a website displaying your personal details, such as your address or phone number, you just send Incogni the link and their experts handle getting it removed. You don't have to navigate the legal process yourself. There's a link in my description. It's incogni.com/CaspianReport. You can sign up for the annual plan to get 60% off. Go with the annual plan so Incogni can keep removing you as new lists pop up. There's also a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it risk-free. Epstein made his living managing money, focusing on tax avoidance. He helped wealthy clients protect and grow their assets, often within the law, and they rewarded him generously. That explanation appears in the files, but it struggles to explain the scale of Epstein's wealth, the access he enjoyed, and the extraordinary deference he received from institutions meant to restrain him. To make sense of that gap, some have floated an alternative hypothesis. Epstein was a spy, and his money came not from finance but from blackmail of powerful people. You see, Jeffrey Epstein is a textbook example of what intelligence services call an access agent, which is not a spy in the traditional sense, but an intermediary positioned close enough to powerful individuals to facilitate influence or leverage. In intelligence work, agencies rarely recruit heads of state, global CEOs, or members of royal families directly. Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, or Prince Andrew are too visible for that. And so, intelligence agencies will do the next best thing. Recruit someone with regular access to the person of interest, someone who can move naturally in elite circles. In some cases, the person of interest is placed in compromising situations, which creates material that can later be used as leverage. The Russians call this kompromat. The compromised material is held as insurance should pressure ever be needed, but usually its mere existence is enough. Jeffrey Epstein's house on the island had hidden video cameras in nearly every room, including the bathrooms. Surveillance on that scale serves no obvious purpose other than leverage. Ultimately, though, whether Jeffrey Epstein really was an access agent is beside the point. What matters is that American institutions behaved as if he were untouchable. The thing is, when FBI agents raided Jeffrey Epstein's home, they photographed binders, CDs, and recording devices, but did not confiscate them because it was not within the scope of their warrant. So, the original material was left at Epstein's home. Only later did the Bureau request that the items be handed over. It's not difficult to imagine that the material was tampered with. Still more, during the FBI's investigation, many properties were never searched at all, and those that were searched had been given advance notice, including the infamous island. This was not the conduct of institutions treating a suspect as an ordinary criminal. It was the conduct of institutions proceeding with extreme hesitation and deference. If you want to learn more about this, check out One Nation Under Blackmail by Whitney Webb. The book does a terrific job in deciphering the relationship between intelligence agencies and organized crime. You can pick up a copy using our Amazon affiliate link in the description box. It will help you understand the Epstein case better than any video ever could. The same untouchable pattern appeared in the judicial response. Despite overwhelming evidence and credible testimony involving minors, Epstein received an extraordinarily lenient plea deal in 2008. 6 months of house arrest, work release, and immunity provisions broad enough to shield unnamed co-conspirators. And this is one of the core problems with the Epstein files. They do not document a complete operation, they document institutional behavior under stress. They show how law enforcement, prosecutors, and oversight bodies responded when confronted with a defendant embedded in elite networks. Whatever Epstein was, the institutions treated him like a problem best kept in the dark. As a result, it's fair to assume that there will never be any real justice. Sure, a few high rollers may be put behind bars, but not all. It will be just enough to reassure public anger. The full picture, however, will remain out of reach. No context, no corroboration, and certainly no accountability. And that in itself may be enough to indict the system. In the United States and democratic states like it, power does not rest primarily in individuals, armies, or even elected leaders. It rests in institutions. Courts, parliaments, central banks, and civil services outlast administrations and personalities. They provide continuity, stability, predictability, and above all, restraint. These institutions turn raw power into durable authority by enforcing rules, settling disputes, and signaling consistency to citizens, markets, and allies alike. This is America's real strength. Not moral purity or flawless leadership, but institutions that are trusted to function even when leaders fail. And so long as those institutions hold public trust, Americans will be capable of absorbing shocks, no matter the scale or scope. However, the minute the institutions betray that trust, power will start to hollow from within. The Epstein files reveal a growing gap between formal democratic institutions and informal elite power networks. Technically, the formal institutions are responsible for keeping a lid on things and preventing the emergence of informal power networks. But the Epstein files prove that those institutions failed. Think of the FBI's lousy investigation and the political cover-up. Some context is needed here though. You see, by its very nature, intelligence agencies must operate in secrecy, not as a flaw, but as a requirement. Human intelligence is built on deception. transparency would destroy it. However, democracies depend on the opposite premise, that institutions ultimately answer to the public. The Epstein files sit precisely at this fault line. The files are partially released, the names are redacted, and agencies neither confirm nor deny involvement. All of this produces what is called institutional ambiguity, which is perhaps the most dangerous state for a democracy. In fact, institutional ambiguity may be even worse than open corruption and more corrosive than outright authoritarianism. In a corrupt system, people still understand how power works. In an authoritarian one, fear provides clarity. But in an ambiguous system, citizens, officials, markets, and allies all begin to guess. Laws may exist on paper, but their enforcement becomes selective and unpredictable. The government still holds authority, but no one knows where the limits are. As a result, the elites begin to operate on assumptions rather than rules. Over time, courts lose the ability to enforce laws, and prosecution becomes a matter of bargaining. Investigations grind to a halt as the relevant agencies turn into tools of the elite. Meanwhile, accountability becomes a thing of the past as citizens come to believe the entire government machinery exists to shield the powerful. From the outside, the state appears intact, but from the inside, the government slowly loses legitimacy. Power drifts away from institutions and into informal, unaccountable networks operating beyond public scrutiny. This is precisely why the Epstein files are so dangerous. They expose structural stress. And as long as things remain unaddressed, the files will harden the delegitimization of institutions, deepen distrust of intelligence agencies, and erode democratic consent. We've seen this de-evolution of states numerous times, and it's particularly dangerous to democracies, more so than any foreign threat. Empires, after all, don't collapse when the truth is revealed, but when the lie stops working. I've been your host Shirvan from Caspian Report. If you approve of what we do, please leave a comment, hit the like button, and mayhaps share the video. In any case, thank you for your time, and sağ ol.